as he laid his fevered hand upon his shoulder, "and are the only men who regard the mass of people out of doors, or are regarded by them, we will uphold them to the last, and will raise a cry against these un-English papists which shall re-echo through the country and roll with a noise like thunder. I will be worthy of the motto on my coat of arms, 'Called and chosen and faithful.'" "Called," said the secretary, "by heaven." "I am." "Chosen by the people." "Yes." "Faithful to both." "To the block." It would be difficult to convey an adequate idea of the excited manner in which he gave these answers to the secretary's promptings, of the rapidity of his utterance, or the violence of his tone and gesture, in which, struggling through his Puritan's demeanour, was something wild and ungovernable which broke through all restraint. For some minutes he walked rapidly up and down the room, then, stopping suddenly, exclaimed, "Gashford, you moved them yesterday too! Oh yes, you did." "I shone with a reflected light, my lord," replied the humble secretary, laying his hand upon his heart. "I did my best." "You did well," said his master, "and are a great and worthy instrument. If you will ring for John Gruby to carry the portmanteau into my room, and will wait here while I undress, we will dispose of business as usual, if you're not too tired." "Too tired, my lord! But this is his consideration. Christian from head to foot." With which soliloquy the secretary tilted the jug and looked very hard into the mulled wine to see how much remained. John Willet and John Gruby appeared together. The one bearing the great candlesticks, and the other the portmanteau, showed the deluded lord into his chamber, and left the secretary alone to yawn and shake himself, and finally to fall asleep before the fire. "Now, Mr. Gashford, sir," said John Gruby in his ear, after what appeared to him a moment of unconsciousness, "my lord's abed." "Oh, very good, John," was his mild reply. "Thank you, John. Nobody need sit up. I know my room." "I hope you're not a-going to trouble your head to-night, or my lord's head neither, with anything more about Bloody Mary," said John. "I wish the blessed old creetur had never been born." "I said you might go to bed, John," returned the secretary. "You didn't hear me, I think." "Between Bloody Marys and blue cockades and glorious Queen Besses, and no poperies, and Protestant associations, and making of speeches," pursued John Gruby, looking as usual a long way off, and taking no notice of this hint, "my lord's half off his head. When we go out o' doors, such a set of ragamuffins comes a shouting after us, 'Gordon for ever!' that I'm ashamed of myself and don't know where to look. When we're indoors they come a roaring and screaming about the house like so many devils, and my lord, instead of ordering them to be drove away, goes out into the balcony and demeans himself by making speeches to 'em, and calls 'em men of England and fellow countrymen, as if he was fond of 'em and thanked 'em for coming. I can't make it out, but they're all mixed up somehow or another with that unfort'nate Bloody Mary, and call her name out till they're hoarse. They're all Protestants too, every man and boy among 'em, and Protestants are very fond of spoons, I find, and silver plate in general, whenever area gates is left open accidentally. I wish that was the worst of it, and that no more harm might be to come. But if you don't stop these ugly customers in time, Mr. Gashford—and I know you're the man that blows the fire—you'll find 'em grow a little bit too strong for you. One of these evenings, when the weather gets warmer and Protestants are thirsty, they'll be pulling London down, and I never heard that Bloody Mary went as far as that." Gashford had vanished long ago, and these remarks had been bestowed on empty air. Not at all discomposed by the discovery, John Gruby fixed his hat on, wrong side foremost, that he might be unconscious of the shadow of the obnoxious cockade, and withdrew to bed, shaking his head in a very gloomy and prophetic manner until he reached his chamber. Chapter 35